Alright, well, once again, my name is Garrett, and today I have something completely different for you guys. I'd like to share with you a little bit on hiking. And last summer, I hiked about 30 miles throughout New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York, all overnight, staying in the wilderness, in the mountains, and I've been continuing through the winter as much as I could and starting again in the spring. And today I'd like to show you how you pack your hiking backpack for just a single night, an overnight trip that can be anywhere. It can be 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel like is going to be enjoyable to you. But the most important thing is having a proper backpack and a well-packed backpack, because if you have the weight and everything wrong, your hike's going to be miserable. You're going to be sore and tired, more sore and tired than you will be if you hiked a very long distance. So today, just to demonstrate, I have my personal hiking backpack. It's full of just some basic essential items, and it weighs about 20 pounds right now before food and water. They say you can hike like 25% of your body weight. That's what you can carry on your back. And yeah, this is just my setup. But the three most important things, like I said, having the right equipment, having all your equipment ready before you go. You want to pack your backpack before you go with all the items in the correct order, because if you don't distribute the weight right, like I said, you'll come out really in pain and sore. And then you got to test it, just like I was before. I'm holding it, I want to get all my straps right. I'll walk around my house, my backyard, the street, the neighborhood for a few miles and just make sure I'm comfortable before I go on a hike in the middle of nowhere. So, just to begin, I'll show you guys what basic gear I have with me today. And most of the time, you don't need anything special except for your main things like sleeping bag, tent, some rainwear in case it does rain, maybe some extra clothes, and your food and water. I didn't bring water today because it's a very heavy item for me to carry with me. I have about 3 liters of capacity of water in here that I can carry, and the tube comes right out the shoulder strap, and I can just wrap around my shoulder and drink whenever I need it. But today, I normally have a sponge, because believe it or not, I cook when I go hiking. I want to be able to clean afterwards. I'm a pretty good houseman. And I'll have some basic moist towelettes, because you never want to be dirty on the hike. You won't be able to wash your hands or anything. This is essential. This is toilet paper. And when you're hiking, you're going to need it when you're in the woods and you need to use the restroom. And then this is just a basic towel. It's microfiber. You can use it to wipe your sweat. You can use it to dry yourself off if you go into a spring or a creek or anything. That's just some basic stuff. Now onto the more extensive and more expensive items that are in the pack. Just to begin, this is a pillow right here. Believe it or not, I'm not going to demonstrate it entirely, but this comes out of this pack and you inflate it a little bit. It becomes about a 10-inch pillow. It's comfortable for when I need it. I have a more comfortable one that's filled with like a down that I didn't bring with me because when down gets wet, it tends to not regain its puffiness afterwards. So that's the pillow. This is my cook set. This is my pot and pan for the entire trip. And this is my plate. This is aluminum. This is titanium. And inside of here, I have the capacity to put one meal. So inside of here, there's one full meal for an entire night. I believe it's chili with mac and cheese in here right now. It's freeze-dried, so I have to rehydrate it when I cook it, which is why I have the pot. I fill my water, I boil the water, and then I put it into the meal. In here is just some essential items like, I believe I have some toiletries, some soap, and spoons. It's a sport. But you don't need too much. You don't even need 2 when you go hiking for an overnight. You only need 1. I have some duct tape, and duct tape is very handy for anything. You can use it for your blisters. I use it on my blisters a lot for repairing tents, repairing jackets, or anything, repairing the backpack. I have some lint for fire making, if it's allowed. In New Jersey, you aren't allowed to light fires in certain areas. So you have to make sure you're aware of the regulations and the rules. Like I said, there's deodorant. You get stinky on a hike. Trust me. You will, and you're going to want deodorant or some kind of spray. And this is actually a soap. It's Castile soap, so it's entirely organic, so I can use it anywhere in the woods, and it's just going to disintegrate or go into the environment and not cause any harm. That's basically just little toiletries, accessories, and stuff like that to go along with the wet wipes, toilet paper. While I'm hiking, I like to have snacks. This is all granola-based items, granola bars, granola with chocolate that I can use as cereal for breakfast, and some protein and apple crunch bars. Just whatever you enjoy at home that's simple and small to pack up, you can bring with you. This is a little mixture of couscous I have for a lunch, and it's couscous with some like red pepper, some chili pepper mix, black pepper, paprika. There's a ton of spicy things in here because spicy items while you're hiking are going to make you thirsty, and you're going to rehydrate yourself just as much as you need to. Then these go along with the tent, which I have at the bottom of my pack, and I'll explain why in a few moments. This is a headlamp. It's right now it's on red, so I don't blind anyone, but it's for at night. You're going to be, if you're hiking or you walk to the bathroom, go set your fire or anything, you can use the light, and it'll really help guide you. It's pretty bright, and they're not that expensive. They're pretty cheap. Right here is just clothes. This bag itself is entirely waterproof. I can, if I seal it right, I could throw in the pool and it will come out completely dry. In there's just simple change of clothes, like shorts, t-shirt, socks, underwear, everything that I would need. I didn't bring any extra jackets or anything because it's getting warm out. I wouldn't need any of that. Right here, just for demonstration purposes, I brought a 55-degree sleeping bag, rated for the summer. It does pack down this light, this small, weighs a pound and a half, and that's what I'm looking for when I'm going hiking. I want minimal weight for me, just because I'm a smaller build, so I don't want to be carrying a lot of weight. This I'll keep in the middle of my pack, and I'll explain why in a few moments. Right here, this is actually my mattress for the hike. This expands to a 6-foot bed. It's about 1.5 inches thick, and this itself only weighs about 11 ounces. It's a little pricey, but it was definitely worth it, and I don't give up any comfortability. And then this I use in conjunction with sleeping bags. This is a liner in the same shape of my sleeping bag. It adds about 10 degrees of warmth if you're in a cold place. And it's pretty much a blanket too, so it'll wick any moisture off you or sweat if you're sweating overnight. And it's nice to have with any type of sleeping bag, especially with my expensive down sleeping bag, which is rated for 15 degrees. I have a 15-degree sleeping bag as well. This is actually my entire tent. It's one of the bigger ones for a one-person tent, because this is only made to sleep one person. And it weighs a little over 4 pounds. You can go like 2-pound tents, 3-pound tents, or even lighter. But this is just what I have because it was inexpensive, and it's only an overnight hike. I don't need anything too crazy. And other than that, all you're really going to need is about a compass. I have a compass just in case I do get lost and I need to navigate. And then this is just for my pack. It's like a rain jacket for my pack. And if it does start to rain, I'll throw that on there. Once again, at the top, I have a rain jacket right here. This is a full-size rain jacket. It packs up like 3 ounces, so it's definitely worth it to me. But like I said, one of the most important things is packing your pack right. When you're distributing weight, especially on your back and your hips, you want about 80% or 60% of the weight on your hips. Which is what the hip belts are for right here. They strap along your hips. And then the way you pack your backpack will distribute the weight between your hips or your shoulders. So if you throw all of your entire weight on the top of your backpack, all your shoulder straps are going to be carrying the weight. So your shoulders are going to be rubbing constantly. It's always going to be rubbing, get dry and itchy, and then red. It's like a what's it called, blister. You feel like a blister on your shoulders. So just to demonstrate, you want to start with your heaviest item on the bottom, because that's right where your hips are. That's right where that weight's going to be taken down. So this is about 4 pounds. I'll throw right down the bottom. Now, depending on what pack you have, will determine how you pack your backpack when it comes to like configuring and puzzling everything in. But this is just one straight piece up, so I can pack it stacked up and down. Then my next item would be clothing, because I can carry a lot of heavy clothes, especially I got fleece outerwear or a jacket. So I'll throw the fleece and the clothes in next, and it's hard to demonstrate exactly, but it's staying along the back of the backpack, along this back pad right here, which is a frame which sits against your back. So none of the weight is going to be sitting out forward of the backpack. So like to show you, if I have a lot of weight right here in the middle and it's pulling me backwards, it's going to make my back uncomfortable. It's going to arch the backpack, and I'm not going to be enjoying what I'm doing. So I keep it as close to my back as possible. And when I tighten all my straps up, it's right there with me. It's just part of my body, and it's just a little bit extra weight. You can barely feel it. For today, since I have a 55-degree sleeping bag, it's really, really light. I can throw that right on top of it or in front of it, and it won't really make a difference because it's straightening everything out along with the clothes. And then simple things like this, these don't weigh much. They weigh under a pound. You can stick them in the sides just to even out the space that you're taking up in the pack, and even out the entire weight distribution between your two shoulder pads. Normally, even though I had these in the pack when I demonstrated unloading everything, I'll keep these on the side. Inside of my, this is a cup holder basically, a bottle holder, and I can use the retention strap right here to hold them in. And then the stakes weigh nothing as well, so you can throw them in whenever you feel comfortable. Next items that are going to be heaviest are going to be your food and your toiletries. So throw those right on top of those clothes and the sleeping bag. So all my heavy weight right now is sitting right in the middle of my pack and the bottom. So everything's going to be right here, along my hips with my hip belt, and right here, right where the straps aren't going to like rub against my shoulders from the weight. They're just going to sit there against my back with the frame. And with the way the pack is designed, it'll feel comfortable and not painful or heavy. So just like I said, the 10 stakes, just throw them in there. Toiletries, since I didn't bring that much, I have very light ones. Throw them right on the top in case they need a soap or anything. Pillow, even though I'm not going to be using it until nighttime, you can throw it in the top because some people sit on their pillow throughout the day. You take it out, you sit on a rock, use a pillow for comfort. I personally don't do that, but if I needed to, I guess I would. The pack towel, sometimes I keep in this top separate compartment of the pack, but just for keeping it dry, for the sake of keeping it dry, I'm going to keep it right in the middle because this is mostly a waterproof nylon, so it'll keep most of my stuff dry in a light rain. Headlamp, because if it does get dark on you without you realizing it, it's right at the top of the pack and I can grab it. This aluminum plate, it weighs, I think, like 0.3 ounces when I weighed it out. I weighed out all my stuff, but you can throw it anywhere, you know, like if you need it for support or to separate something, divide things, you can use it as that, but for me, just gonna throw it right on top. I'm not gonna need it unless I start eating in the middle of the day, and sometimes I do that, but sometimes I won't, because I have all those snacks with me. And then these items right here, other than the sponge, because the sponge you're gonna need after you cook. The wet ones, you're gonna find yourself using the most. The toilet paper, you're gonna find yourself using the most too. I blow my nose with it a lot, especially when you're out in the woods, you're getting allergies and everything. You're gonna be sneezing and coughing and everything, so it's best to have toilet paper as close as you can get it. They're going right on the top with my rain jacket, and that's all done. And then everything else is in the backpack already, distributed correctly. And then, unfortunately, with a lot of hiking backpacks, there are like 8 or 9 clips total, and you gotta cinch everything down. So you really have to be aware of what your pack has on it. So I have 2 more clips here, and when you close those together, that keeps the lid from flapping around on you like this. Like I said, the cinch strap right here, put my poles right through it. There, this tightens up. That'll keep the poles right there and stable. There's another one right on this side. And with these straps right here, bring any of that weight on the top right towards the frame of the backpack. So keep it right there with you. Now I have the backpack fully loaded. It's going with the arch of my back. After I filled it, the frame is arching the right way. It's not that heavy until I do this. I can feel all my shoulders because I don't have my hip belt on. So it feels tight, it feels constricted, and that's how every pack's gonna feel when you first throw it on. And once I get my hip belts positioned correctly, right above the bones right here in your waist, right there, I tighten it up. And now when I drop it down, all that weight's going on those bones. So I cut the weight down severely. My shoulders, they're just sitting there with the straps padded against them, that's about it. This strap in the middle right here is just to keep the shoulder straps together instead of rubbing along your outer shoulder blades. It'll keep it right here with you and keep everything tight to your chest. And I think this emergency whistle too. Yeah, so it's a whistle in case you get lost or God knows what happens. A bear comes. What was that?
Are you going alone?
Most of the time I won't. You don't have to go alone, or you don't have to go with people, with a group. New Jersey and Pennsylvania, the bear population isn't very high, so you can safely go by yourself. Personally, I've gone with my good friend every time because we both, I wouldn't say like share stories, but we share the moments together, and then we come back and we can talk about it to people like, oh, we hiked over Bear Mountain, we hiked across the Delaware River, and all this other stuff, and it's kind of cool to tell people. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I've tested it right now. Like I said, I would walk around however far I need to before I know I'm comfortable and ready to go. And then, and that's it. And thank you for listening. And I hope you learned a little bit about it. And if you do consider hiking, you never know. There are tons of day hikes you can go on, especially in New Jersey, that's not elevated. You can just walk around and enjoy yourself. And maybe you'll consider those. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.